Have you ever wondered if your TV is secretly raising your electricity bill? Not by a lot, not by something obvious, but by just enough that over an entire year, it adds up. Millions of Americans upgrade their TVs every year. Bigger screens, brighter colors, thinner designs. But almost nobody asks one very important question. Which TV actually uses less electricity? LED TVs are everywhere. They're affordable, they're bright, and they've been the standard for years. But OLED TVs, those are the premium displays everyone talks about. Perfect blacks, incredible contrast, stunning movie quality. The problem is this: many people assume that newer technology automatically means lower energy use. But that's not always true. And depending on how you watch TV and what kind of content you watch, one of these technologies could actually cost you more money over time. So today, we're breaking it all down. LED versus OLED. Which one really saves more electricity in American homes? How much the difference actually costs you per year? And which TV makes more sense if you care about both performance and energy efficiency? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which TV technology is better for your living room and your electric bill. Because right now, electricity prices across the United States are rising. In many states, the average household electricity rate has increased significantly over the past few years. Utility bills are getting bigger, and people are paying attention. Streaming has exploded. Households now watch more TV than ever before. Movies, sports, gaming, streaming platforms running for hours every night. And that means one thing: your TV is on a lot. In fact, many American households run their television 4 to 6 hours per day, some even longer. And if your TV is a large 65-inch or 75-inch model, the electricity usage becomes much more noticeable. This is why energy efficiency matters now more than ever. Retailers push the newest models, manufacturers advertise brighter screens, but electricity consumption is rarely the headline feature. Yet over the life of a TV, which can easily be 7 to 10 years, energy use becomes a real cost. And this conversation has become even more important as OLED TVs grow in popularity across the United States. A few years ago, OLED was rare and expensive. Today, OLED TVs are everywhere. Major electronics brands have invested heavily in OLED technology, and it's now a serious competitor to traditional LED displays. So the real question becomes, are Americans paying extra for OLED in electricity costs, or is the newer technology actually more efficient? To answer that, we first need to understand how these TVs actually work. Let's start with LED TVs. Most TVs sold in the United States today are technically LCD televisions with LED backlights. The screen itself does not produce light. Instead, the display uses a panel of liquid crystals. Behind that panel sits a backlight made of LEDs. Those LEDs shine light through the screen. The liquid crystals control how much of that light passes through each pixel. Think of it like a window with adjustable blinds. The backlight is always shining, and the pixels are controlling how much light gets through. This system works well, it's efficient, and it allows TVs to get very bright. But here's the key point. Because the backlight is always running, power consumption stays relatively steady. Whether the screen is bright or dark, those LEDs behind the panel are still active. Now let's look at OLED. OLED stands for Organic Light Emitting Diode, and it works completely differently. With OLED, every pixel produces its own light. There is no backlight. Each individual pixel turns on and off independently. That means when a scene is dark, many pixels can shut off completely. When pixels are off, they use almost no electricity. And that's what creates the famous OLED black levels. True black. Because the pixel isn't just dimmed, it's completely off. But this design also means something interesting. Power consumption depends heavily on what you're watching. A dark movie scene might use very little power. But a bright scene, like a snowy landscape or a sports broadcast, can require significantly more energy because many pixels are active at high brightness. So already we can see something important. LED TVs use fairly consistent power. OLED TVs use variable power depending on the image. And this is where things start getting interesting. Let's talk about what this actually means for American households. Imagine two 65-inch TVs, one LED, one OLED, both used about 5 hours per day. For typical mixed content, many LED TVs consume somewhere around 80 to 120 watts during normal use. OLED TVs often fall into a similar range, sometimes slightly lower, sometimes slightly higher depending on brightness. At first glance, the numbers look almost identical, but here's where it gets serious. Real-world viewing habits change everything. Think about how Americans watch TV, sports, football games, basketball, bright stadium lights, large areas of green field, constant movement, and high brightness. These scenes cause OLED panels to activate many pixels at high power. During those moments, OLED TVs can actually use more electricity than some LED TVs. But now think about movies, especially modern films with dark cinematography, sci-fi, thrillers, night scenes. In those cases, OLED TVs often use less power because large portions of the screen are dark. Pixels turn off. Energy use drops. This is the part nobody talks about. Your electricity usage depends on what you watch. Two households with the exact same TV could see different power consumption simply because their viewing habits are different. If you watch sports and bright daytime content most of the time, LED TVs often have the advantage in power efficiency. If you watch movies, darker shows, or cinematic content, OLED may actually use less electricity, and this changes everything. Now let's translate that into actual American electricity costs. The average electricity price in the United States currently sits around the mid-teens per kilowatt hour, depending on the state. Some states pay much more. California, Massachusetts, Hawaii, electricity can be significantly higher. Other states are cheaper. But let's take a realistic example. A TV that averages around 100 watts running 5 hours per day. Over a full year, that equals roughly 182 kilowatt hours of electricity. Multiply that by the national average electricity price, and the annual cost comes out somewhere around $25 to $35 per year. That's it. Surprisingly small. Now let's compare two scenarios. An efficient LED TV averaging 90 watts, an OLED TV averaging 110 watts due to brighter content. Over a full year, the difference might be around 35 kilowatt hours, which equals maybe $5 per year in electricity. $5. That's less than the price of a movie ticket. Even over 10 years, the difference may only reach $40 to $60, which is why many experts say electricity usage should not be the main factor when choosing between these technologies. But there are still a few important things Americans should understand. Because TV size changes everything. A 55-inch TV might consume around 80 watts, but a massive 85-inch TV could easily double that. Bigger screen, more pixels, more brightness, higher power. And large TVs are becoming extremely popular in the United States. Walk into any electronics store today and you'll see rows of huge displays. 65-inch, 75-inch, 85-inch. Home theater setups are becoming the new normal. And when screen sizes increase, the electricity differences between technologies become more noticeable. This is where OLED efficiency can shine during darker viewing. But brightness demands can also push its power higher in certain situations. Now here's another factor most people overlook. Brightness settings. Many TVs ship with extremely bright default settings. Retail display mode, store demo mode. These modes are designed to look impressive under bright store lighting, but they consume more power. At home, reducing brightness slightly can cut energy usage without affecting the viewing experience. This is one of the easiest ways Americans can reduce electricity costs from their TVs, and it works for both LED and OLED. But let's talk about the bigger picture, pros and cons, because electricity is only one part of the story. LED TVs have a few clear advantages. They're usually cheaper, they can get extremely bright, and they often have predictable energy consumption. They're reliable, affordable, and widely available in every size. OLED TVs, on the other hand, deliver some of the best picture quality ever created. Perfect black levels, incredible contrast, and stunning color accuracy. For movie lovers, OLED can feel almost cinematic, but they are more expensive. And depending on content, power consumption can fluctuate more. Public opinion about this technology debate is fascinating. Some people argue OLED is the future of television. Others say LED technologies like mini LED are catching up quickly while staying more energy efficient in bright scenes. And the debate gets even more interesting when gaming enters the picture. Gamers often display bright HUD elements and static images. That can keep OLED pixels active longer. But modern OLED panels have become far more energy efficient than earlier generations. Manufacturers have made huge improvements: power management, pixel efficiency, automatic brightness control. All of these technologies help keep OLED energy use competitive. Now let's look ahead. What does the future look like for television energy efficiency in the United States? By 2030, TVs will likely become even larger, but also more efficient. New panel technologies are already emerging: micro LED, advanced mini LED backlights, next-generation OLED materials. Each new generation reduces power consumption while increasing brightness. Energy regulations may also influence TV design. Government efficiency standards continue to push manufacturers toward lower power consumption. And as electricity costs continue rising in some regions, energy efficiency will become a stronger selling point. We may eventually see TVs that intelligently adjust brightness based on room lighting, content type, and viewing habits. Some already do. Artificial intelligence is even being used to optimize picture processing while minimizing energy usage, so the gap between technologies may become smaller over time. Now let's bring this back to practical advice. If you're a student living in a small apartment, electricity differences between TV types will likely be minimal. Focus on price and screen size. If you're a working professional building a home entertainment setup, picture quality might matter more than the tiny electricity difference. OLED could be worth it for movie nights. If you're a business owner running multiple displays, such as in a restaurant or sports bar, LED TVs may offer more predictable energy consumption for long hours of bright content. And for everyday American consumers, the most important energy-saving tip is surprisingly simple. Choose the right size TV, avoid maximum brightness settings, enable energy-saving modes, and turn the TV off when you're not using it. Those habits will save far more electricity than choosing one technology over the other. So which TV saves more electricity? The honest answer is, it depends. OLED can be more efficient during darker scenes. LED can be more efficient during brighter content, but in real-world American households, the yearly electricity difference is usually very small. What really matters is how you use your TV and how big that screen is. Technology will continue evolving, but for now, both LED and OLED are surprisingly efficient. So the next time someone tells you OLED will skyrocket your electricity bill, you'll know the truth. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the technology behind your everyday devices, make sure to subscribe to Tech Vibes. Because here, we break down the tech shaping our homes, our money, and our future. And I want to hear from you. Are you using an LED TV or an OLED TV right now? And have you ever noticed a difference in your electricity bill? Drop your answer in the comments, because your experience might help thousands of other viewers make the right decision. And I'll see you in the next Tech Vibes video.